Conclusion. Closed loop. Stimulus has gotten so easy to identify and so recognizable and so obvious and so frequent here now in Seattle, Washington. I've had to consider at the age of 36, living the rest of my life to die and peacefully see death. I've seen people do heroin in cemeteries. I've been assaulted twice for no fucking reason on the fucking world's planet Earth. I've been described by a neighbor that I want to kill everybody in this building now. Previously, with the cops showing up, with the police telling me they've already been here for that person over there who hits the wall, who said, I want to kick that wall in and break through to her apartment. I've been called a bitch. I've been called bad words by people who sit in their room all day like a monkey in a cage, by people who go to the 30-year younger lady's hallway room down the building, like Richard Gere and his 33-year younger wife with 2 kids now. And told by thug gangster maniac N-word calling belligerent people in Seattle who are supported by the government and declared more important to the police than me. They want to kill me. And everybody just looks and then leaves, observes, and goes away. The operator says, go there, do this, go. Oh, no, oh, good. The police say they can't file a police report. The landlord says, I'm the problem. I'm too loud, I'm too rude, I'm too dangerous, I'm too obnoxious, and I'm a risk. And so there's the paradox. Knowing the problem, knowing when the battery on the phone says low energy, close, plug in, knowing where the drug dealers live, knowing who's getting the drugs, knowing the phones, knowing the communications, knowing the tunnels, knowing the networks, knowing the racists. And choosing to look at Om and call it a swastika. And choosing to say to the gendered woman who's potentially a trans woman, previously a man, in this world now, and to the war veteran down the hall, and to his sweet muffin baking lover down the hall. They're with them. And no, eventually my loop is going to close. And nobody will have to worry anymore. Let time pass on by and go fast and then stop. And restart. And a person like me, nowhere to be found. What I'm talking about has the verbal description and sounds very similar to time travel. Letting time go, okay, the loop's closed, go back to the start and restart it until there is a noticeable behavioral, emotional, mental change. Food like this and coffee, hypotheticals, theoretical and probably not actually valid. So that everyone's on the same consciousness. With me, no, nobody hits the wall. Nobody has a rave all night. Nobody buys drugs in this building. Nobody smokes that shit. Nobody hits that crack pipe. Nobody hits that freaking bong. Nobody drinks himself stupid all day and then tells other people they're gonna fuck them up. And the landlord doesn't support those words. They just don't ever hear them. They don't ever get what's being done to my home. They don't ever see anyone buy stuff. They don't ever notice on the video someone's dropping off a big shipment of some meth and crack for those stimulus check receiving poor folks and people who are on Social Security and just have nothing better to do, who don't need their mind to be in the way of what they're doing each day. Closed loops don't restart themselves. People don't magically show up in the hallways doing the same routine every week, every month, every single day of the week. They keep track of time, they keep track of behavior, they keep track of where people are and what they're doing, when they do it, and they most noticeably listen and watch like the wolf going for food to get their stimulus, like the wolf eating an animal. And folks and people like me are distracting, incompetent, and most commonly described as rats, narcs, standing in the way of now, blocking positive emotions and love for everybody, happiness and joy and freedom of the mind and spirit and willingness and peace on earth. The closed loop is not a number, an equation for one example. The closed loop is one day studying. The closed loop is one afternoon studying and another in the evening resting and taking a break. And another one in the morning after being so exhausted, not recognizing it's a new day, a new number on the calendar, and a fresh, bright morning. A closed loop in a business meeting, a closed loop in a team meeting, a closed loop in a Zoom, online, digital discussion, conversation for a public school closed from the coronavirus, where people are working from home. These are closed loops because I'm not having some fictitious consciousness in my room, through the walls, in the air, and a part of me in my mind. My brain's learning, my brain's processing the caffeine, my mind's planning for what I need to document for my dissertation. My mind is keeping track of my hunger, my nutrition, and my body's working with the page turning, the writing of the notes. Hands, eyes, mouth, drinking the coffee, brain, mind. A closed loop, ending with the accomplishment of a goal to reach 100 pages completed. Much different than a closed loop of the drug system and the processes of the addict, the stimulus loving, futuristic minded warrior. Who operate like a drone doing surveillance for the CIA. Who do their work methodically, keep track maniacally, and destroy anybody who stands in their path, who decides to not be a part of their drug, their stimulus, their decision, and their choice they can make. Now, the end.